Hello and welcome to the Movie Attic. I'm Mike, and as I've said before, this is the Attic where I plan on discussing and reviewing movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks for all the nice people out there in YouTube land. Today's big episode is the one that was scheduled to be my first video ever, but after recording some footage, it was so bad that, like I said in my last episode, it made me want to sell this camera on eBay, and I thoroughly destroyed all that footage. But as a treat for all those wonderful people that love this channel, and I find that hard to believe, as you probably know, I did a reenactment of that first video footage. So without further ado, here's that reenactment. Oh, hola. Hello, and welcome to the Movie Attic. I'm Mike, and this is the Attic where I plan on talking about some movies. Today's big movie is Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. I really like this movie. Stutter. So I give this movie lots of rolls of insulation. So if you like this kind of content, you might want to check yourself into a hospital. So until next time, don't forget to smash that comment button, and I'll see you then. Bye. So anyway, there's a little taste of what that first video footage might have been like. It's probably not exact, of course. But it was, bad enough that it took me practically 6 months later to actually put out a video. But anyway, as you might have seen from that reenactment, today's big movie is Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, starring Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Angelina Jolie, amongst other people that you might recognize from television and other movies. There's the back of it. And as you can see, it says Special Collector's Edition, which really is special. Not a lot there. The reason I chose that movie as my first movie I was going to review was more, if you've watched the channel, and you don't have to admit to any of this stuff, of course, I'm all about discovering new movies and actors and directors and all that fun stuff, and genres too. So I was watching a video from another YouTuber. We'll just call him Ken. He was doing an unboxing of several things, but one of the things he was unboxing was this movie here, which is Sky Pirates. And little did I know at the time, because this is the set he unboxed, and I thought, oh boy, that looks like a really cool set. I believe it's from Umbrella. But I didn't realize at the time that these sets, I don't know if you can even see it. Like I said, the lighting's terrible up here. But they're limited to 300 copies. So after I'd seen that video of that unboxing, I didn't try to find the movie till the next day on my lunch break at work. And one of the benefits of getting old is I couldn't remember the title. I knew Sky was in it, so I started typing in Sky, and then Captain popped up, so I went with that. Saw the video of that, the trailer of Sky Captain on YouTube, the trailer, and I was like, man, that looks like a pretty good movie, but that's not the movie Ken unboxed. So I eventually did look up Sky Pirates, and eventually got that copy of it, because this copy was so rare. But then I eventually did find it like a month later on eBay. But like I said, I was so into the trailer for this movie, little glare there, that I thought, I gotta check this out. So I bought that one first before I even ordered any copies of the Sky Pirates. And watched it a couple times last year, and just because of the way I found the movie, thought that'd be a great first episode if it hadn't been for the terrible footage, of course. But this movie has so many things that resonate with me as a film lover. It starts out, it's almost like a pile of different movies all in one, actually. First of all, the aesthetic of the movie, it's like 90% of this whole movie is done on green screen or blue screen or whatever screen they have. So these people are reacting and interacting with things that aren't actually there, if you know about that stuff. Like I say, it's from 2004, so, special effects as far as CGI weren't maybe that great back then. That was 20 years ago. But they do make up for it because they kind of dull down the live action characters, the way they look, so that they blend in with the CGI of the rest of the film. But anyway, the elements that really resonate with me on this film is it looks like it takes place in 1939. It's events that didn't actually happen, but they place it in time somewhere. And I like movies like that. It put me in mind of, and I think other people have said it, it's like a live action comic book. It also, at the very beginning, has like a kind of a noir feel to it. Like I say, it's black and white, well, with a little bit of color here and there. And even when you first meet Jude Law's character, the Sky Captain, he's all buttoned up to the hilt, and he's got the goggles on, and he's flying a plane. And you can't really see his face, so it's a mystery who he is. There's a mysterious bad guy that nobody seems to know anything about, and he's kidnapping these scientists. And so there's that element of the mystery. It also put me in mind of the old movie serials, if you know what they are. And even the name Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow almost has that serial type name, like Buck Rogers or Shazam or any of that stuff. In fact, if you had a great radio voice, it could be a good radio show too, because a lot of these things were radio shows before they became movies back then. Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. Yeah, it has a certain ring to it of that kind of era. Then it kind of switches about halfway through the movie to almost like an Indiana Jones style movie. And then a little bit later on from there, it has a little bit of a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World feel to it. And then at the very end, it's a good old-fashioned trying to beat the clock or whatever, or save the world before time runs out. So it has so many cool elements to it. I even wrote down some cool stuff that I saw, which there's probably many more. Yeah, the movie playing when Gwyneth Paltrow's character, Polly Perkins, first is introduced. She's going to a movie theater to meet this guy, and The Wizard of Oz is playing on screen. And then that theme kind of carries through when you first meet the bad guy. It's almost an image like the wizard from The Wizard of Oz. And then even the ending credits have Somewhere Over the Rainbow playing. So that I thought was cool. One of the comic books on the desk during some of the scenes is Buck Rogers' comic book. There's a thing with newspaper headlines that come up on the screen, and one of those newspaper things has a darkened in silhouette of Godzilla. So I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, like I say, so many interesting things about this movie that resonated with me. Essentially, I don't think I mentioned this, Gwyneth Paltrow plays a news reporter, or newspaper reporter. Jude Law is the Sky Captain. Angelina Jolie plays somebody that used to work with Jude Law's character. So there's kind of a little love triangle going on there. The Sky Captain's plane is very World War II looking, and it actually can go underwater, which I thought was pretty cool. Hope I'm not spoiling too much on that. So if you like, adventure movies, or you like old movie serials, this could be a movie for you. Like I say, the weird way I discovered it, probably nobody else discovered it that way. And it seems to me there's a lot of other movies that have this same aesthetic to them. I think there was, a couple Sin City movies that have that, like, dark, black and white type feel to it. I think I even have one back there, the Spirit, which I also watched. Very dark. It does have color, but it's just used very sparingly. One thing I did forget to mention, this movie, as you'll find out, most of these movies remind me something of Godzilla movies. But the way this movie's lit is very much like the original Godzilla movie. You have an overwhelming light source coming from some direction, and then everything else is like pretty dark. I really love that's another thing too. If you like robots, there's robots in this movie. In fact, the one set of robots that's probably about halfway through the movie kind of reminded me of the robots in the movie Castle in the Sky by Miyazaki, if you know what that is. I wish I'd have seen this movie years ago, because that's how much I liked it. And that might be it for this episode. Like I say, it's been over a year in the making. But finally I got around to watching it again and telling this wonderful story of how I found it. So if I was to rate this movie, I would give it a big 9.5 rolls of pink insulation out of 10. It's one I think I could go back to time and time again, like a comfort movie. Oh, and one other thing, if you're a Beatles fan, you might say, what does any of this have to do with the Beatles? Well, Stella McCartney, if you know who that is, Paul's daughter, did the I think clothing design for Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow's characters. So there you go, even more stuff. But if you've seen this movie or you have this copy of the movie, leave a comment down in the comments section and tell me what you thought of it. 9.5 rolls might be a little high, but like I said before, these ratings don't really mean anything. If you like a movie, it could be a 10, and if somebody else could give it a 0. But like I said, this stuff resonates with me. I watched some. There is special features. I don't know if they're listed on the back or not, but I did watch some of them, and you can see these people interacting basically with nothing there. In some scenes there are some props, but not much. So just the way it's made is very cool. So until next time, when I'm in the attic with a completely different movie, hopefully one that doesn't have such a traumatizing history as this one did on me, that first video shoot. So until then, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks and bye.